if you've, for those of us who are married, I'll give and I'll hold nothing probably sounds about right when we're talking about marriage. So it's really good to see you all today. Thank you very much for coming along. It's great to see you on what has been quite a rainy afternoon where we are, but hopefully it's all right for you. So thank you very much for coming to be with us today. It's really wonderful to see you all. Today is another Taking the Lead call, so we're very grateful for each of you coming along, and we're delighted to see each and every one of you. We're going to discuss today a little bit about the theme of being able to kind of work together and in really trying to encourage people with in trying to kind of work with people and around the marriage course is one of the ways of doing it, and reaching out to people. We've got a few different people who will be able to speak to on that when we get going. We're just going to start for those of you who are unaware of the marriage course and what a resource that it can be. We just got a trailer there, so Amanda, if you're ready, we can run that, please.
Marriage involves two people. They meet.
You found me really attractive really quickly.
They fall in love.
She's passionate.
They get married and embark on a relationship that's designed to be one of increasing intimacy.
I really couldn't see my life without her.
But that's not automatic. We have to keep working at our marriage.
Because I wasn't getting much affirmation, I started getting that from other places.
Our marriage was nearly over.
If you start building good habits in your relationship, you'll be reaping the effects of those choices in 5, 10, or 20 years' time.
I can't let my past define my future. We have to build our own reality.
The aim of the marriage course is to strengthen the connection between you as a couple.
Love grows us. This is not a silly sentimental idea. This is science fact.
How about one that we don't really hear about? How about this one? Fun. Marriage ought to be fun. If you're not having fun, what's the point?
The marriage course is built on universal principles that are relevant to any couple anywhere. In years to come, you'll look back on having built a marriage as perhaps the most important achievement of all in your lives.
Excellent. So today we're going to be looking at the marriage course and what I might be able to do to invite new people to kind of come along into the church. Also, we're all well aware of the work that Alpha can do. And hopefully some of us have an experience of that. We're just trying to find new ways of creating invitations to bring new people into the church and into a relationship with us in all that we're doing. So we're just going to discuss that a little bit today. We're going to look at some of the materials that are there, as you can see, about what it is. We've also got a few interviews going on today with some people who have used the marriage course in the past for reaching out. And obviously there's a little bit of difference between the marriage course that as it's usually run when we're not in a lockdown phase, and then the marriage course as it's run, has been run in the past few months. And we've got a great opportunity to discuss that with a few different people who are along here today. So it's brilliant to see you all. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here and to be with us. So hopefully we're all doing well as the restrictions and all that are starting to be lifted. We're starting to feel like we're getting a little bit back to some semblance of kind of reality and normality and that kind of thing. So we are, really excited, but we also have to try and continue to do the work as we need to do it for moving forward. So as some of you might be aware that the marriage course and the parenting course is something that has been developed with Alpha along with everything that they've been doing in the past number of years, and it kind of works off Nikki and Silali are the name of the people. They've written the marriage book, and they also have written a book called the parenting book. Very imaginatively titled, but it does exactly what it says in the tin, and it's a good place to kind of go with it. But these books have been developed into courses, similar and along the lines to how an Alpha is run. Some people might be familiar with them. Some people might be a little bit less familiar with them, but what we're going to do now is to have a conversation with some people who've been running, the courses for a while, to hear a little bit about what that might do for kind of reaching out to couples and to kind of people in the wider environment and in the local kind of area, and how we might be able to bridge that in taking the lead and inviting them in into a deeper relationship, and maybe as an invitation as well to running an Alpha as well. So I'm really excited today to have Bill Lane on the call. I can see you there. I'm just going to unmute you there, Bill. Am I? Hopefully, yes, I am. It's really great to see you, Bill. Thank you for coming along. And I'm just trying to see, is there anyone else I'm just trying to scan. Patsy, there you are. I can see you, Patsy. How are you? Enjoying that cup there. Am I able to unmute you there? Is that working? No. Oh, there we go. Sorry. I muted you again. Apologies. That's excellent. That's really great to see you. So Patsy and Bill, I know who you guys are, but maybe you'd just like to introduce yourselves to everybody else. Bill, if you could just maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're based, please.
Certainly. So Bill Lane, I've been associated with Carrigrawn Union of Parishes in outside Cork City for as long as I can remember, since the early 80s, I suppose. And we are very active in running the marriage course, but running Alphas as well. And in fact, Alpha is very much part of my faith formation process. It's lovely to see so many names and faces that I recognize there, the Olhausens and the Sextons and many others as well. Denise, good to see you all.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Bill. If it's all right then, as well then, Patsy, just maybe if you could tell us a little bit about where you're based and how long you've been involved in running the marriage course.
Okay, so I'm in the same parish as Bill, probably for even longer, but we won't go there. And I meant to look up how many years ago when we started the marriage course, and I can't remember.
That's quite all right. Lots. You've been doing it. Just from the conversation that we were having back last week, I was really amazed and inspired about the journey that you guys have been on. So you are the one who was involved, Patsy, in starting to run the marriage course down in where you are in Cork. What was it that inspired you to start running the marriage course there?
I guess it was God. I don't know. I just started getting this feeling that there had to be something out there in a Christian context that would encourage people in their marriages, whether they were struggling or whether they weren't. And I started looking up stuff, and I found the marriage course in HTB, and Robert and I flew over for one of the training days and did it, and came back very enthusiastic. And then we just went through the course ourselves with George and Eunice Newell in their house. And then the next year we started a course and did 3 couples in our own house. And the next year we branched out and went a bit bigger in Blarney Church. And that's when William and Tanya and Bill and Janet got to enjoy it too.
Excellent. And the rest, as they say, is history. You guys have been running it for quite a while. Bill, now I know you then got involved and have been working alongside Patsy for the last while. What was it about the course then that kind of inspired you to get involved in the running of it?
My wife mostly. No, when we did the course, it was very formative for us. First of all, it was we knew and trusted Patsy and Robert and Eunice and George, and I think that's a big part of doing something like this. That having that kind of trust in the people who are running it is important. But also when we did the course itself, it really gave us some very good tools, if you like, to work through some issues. And we'd been married at that stage for, I'm not sure, over 20 years anyway, and I would imagine. And but like all marriages, we had a few things that we needed to work out, and it really provided some really key tools, some key conversations that helped us just work through a lot of those things, and to provide the tools to kind of keep going and keep moving on in these things.
Very good. So just perhaps, I know that you're saying, Patsy, that you kind of it had run in a few different kind of ways, specifically around trying to get the word out, and it was quite small at the start. But how did you get the word out about the marriage course, and what was the kind of response that you generally got from people, and has that kind of response changed over the years?
I guess it has. I mean, initially we started within the parish. I mean, that first bigger course No, the first time here in the house, there were 2 parish couples and a couple that I knew from somewhere else that I talked about it, and they said it had come at the right time for them. So that was a kind of social connection, just saying what we were doing in different contexts rather than just church. And then the first big course, I think everybody, I'm trying to do a quick sweep, I think everybody kind of came from the parish or connected. But then it began being a little bit more, we would advertise it through Toddler Group, for instance, which is very community orientated. So we would get some people from different churches and from no churches. That we did a couple of years ago, wasn't it, Bill? We did the big newspaper thing. We got a big, like, double page spread in the Echo or something mad, wasn't it? Which was a bit scary, but it worked. And that came from a toddler mum who was a journalist who said, why don't I do something? So she interviewed Janet and me and Bill and Robert, and she put this big spread. And we definitely got a couple of couples out of that, which was just like off the street. Mm-hmm. And just in passing, I had a chat with Isabel, the rector in Temple Bredy Parish down here, because she and Norman do the marriage course as well. And they do it very differently and run it in a pub. And the pub is closed on Mondays, but it opens up for them. And the pub gives them a menu to choose from, and it's €20 a person for a 3-courser. And all they have to do is go in and set it rolling. And they have, I was just chatting, and they got people or get people just because they hear about it, and like the chef and his fiance and all kinds of, fun things. So there's so many ways we can try.
That's great. Bill, I'd like to kind of ask you, so as someone who kind of came into it, and maybe it was your wife who inspired you, I'll use the word inspired there, to encourage you to kind of get involved. When you're speaking to people, how open do you find that they are when you tell them, there's a marriage course that's on? Do they kind of look at you like you've got a few more heads than you do?
Oh, I think it very much depends whether you're talking to the man or the man or the woman in the relationship. If it's the woman, they're usually open to it. They're usually interested and quite willing to engage. If it's the man, they usually don't want to know about it. And it's generally, let's say, internal pressure from the other half that helps them to make that decision transition. And but it's not always. Those are fairly sweeping generalizations, and you do get guys who are, very aware and very self-aware, if you like, that things are actually needed. So I'm going to have to just take 2 seconds out because we have a delivery being knocked at the door. So I'm going to come back to you.
Of all the times, it's perfect. Excellent. Patsy, can you speak a little bit then about the culture of hospitality and welcome around the marriage course, please?
Well, I think, again, everybody does it differently and can do it differently. Like I said, Isabel and Norman managed to get the hospitality side of it done for them, which is brilliant. But we've always had great fun doing it our way, but we don't do full dinner. I mean, I know HTB start earlier and do a main course. We couldn't get anybody gathered before 8 o'clock in Cork, and that's pushing it. And so if you started with dinner at 8 o'clock, you'd be here until midnight. So our way of doing it is to have a kind of welcome glass of something, and 1 or 2 weeks it will have wine attached, and other weeks it won't. And then at the main break, the big talky bit, we would serve cheeses and crackers and some other savouries sometimes, and a selection of desserts that Janet and I have fun making. And I think when Bill was talking about the gentleman and side of it, I think the food really helps.
Yeah.
But everybody kind of walks in and looks at the dessert table to see what they've got coming, and we try and make it different every week. And at the end of each course, we do a souvenir recipe book with the things that they've eaten, so anything they fancy they can go home and make. And little things like on every table there'll be posies of flowers. Janet is really good at that, and we say take them home every week. And so they keep their little posy of flowers, and it usually lasts them the week until they come back next week.
Very nice.
And the kind of, I don't know, it seems to be like the fact that you did these things, which we just find fun and easy, because they're a bit special, it makes everybody feel a bit like it's a real treat and that they're being valued and appreciated just for nothing, you know, just because they're worth it, which is
that's an interesting thing to actually,
that their marriages are worth it and they're worth it.
Yeah. And I think for churches, I think oftentimes we can get an odd wrap around that, is that we have huge expectations of couples around what we expect from their relationships without ever really supporting them. They can kind of come in and they can, you know, get married or whatever. But I think oftentimes, especially in Irish culture, that there might be a sense that churches maybe don't do enough to try and support couples as they go, that it's just kind of, as soon as you have that ring in your finger, you should be able to figure it out from there. So it's an interesting kind of thing to hear about. I suppose
if they thought that when they've met the Lanes and the Devoys, they know otherwise.
Very good. I suppose one of the things kind of talk about, so it's some people might know a little bit more about the marriage course than others, so I'll just kind of give it in the background. It's generally done over 7 weeks, and there's a video series and that kind of stuff. So Patsy, can you just speak a little bit about practically kind of when you're doing it in person, because you guys have been doing it for a number of years and you've kind of generally done it in person. We'll be speaking to someone later on who's done it kind of online, but in the person sense, like how long would an evening take with running the marriage course?
Well, we try and get started at 8. Again, Janet is the one who keeps us straight on this, because some of us are not so good. We try and get started by 8 to 8:15, and we try and be finished by 10:15, 10 to 10:15, depending upon the week, because some of them are a little longer than others. But yeah, that's about the slot.
So about kind of around 2 hours or so. Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's good. So really just kind of feel in a way like being able to kind of give a date night or something like that, where people are able to come in, which is lovely. So can you just speak a little bit about, I suppose, from like the annual life of the church, how you guys have been kind of dealing with it? I know then in Carrigrohan, what is it? Is there space for the marriage course as just something in the annual life of the church, or is this just something that you run once every now and then?
Bill?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I think ideally you would run it once a year, right? And you know, obviously more often if you could, right? But you know, it does take, you know, a certain amount of effort on the part of the people running it. Patsy and Janet put a huge amount of effort into, you know, making the desserts and doing all that sort of stuff and making it a really nice evening for the couples. Robert and I mostly do, you know, the sort of, you know, the kind of heavy lifting, setting up the chairs and tables and sweeping up and doing all those kinds of things. So it is a team effort, and if you're doing it the way we do it, then it does take that kind of commitment. You know, you have to arrive 45 minutes or an hour beforehand, and you're staying half an hour or 45 minutes afterwards, and so it's a big commitment. If you do it the way Isabel was doing it down in Temple Bredy, where there's a pub and you can use their catering services, then maybe that's a lower overhead way of doing it. Obviously there's still some, but so we have, in the last few years, we've tried to run it sort of after Christmas or after Easter. After Christmas works better. After Easter, you find people gradually, you know, their holidays get in the way, the longer evenings get in the way, all that kind of stuff. So I'm certainly personally less fond of the after Easter one. I think the after Christmas one works pretty well.
I suppose you could probably catch on to an idea of, you know, new year, new you, kind of invest in the marriage and that kind of stuff. It's
all of that kind of stuff, yeah. And it is only a 7-week course, so in principle you can get most of it in before the school break and things like that. You know, there might be one after or whatever, but so it's the kind of thing. Obviously, every year, depending on the size of the parish, you have people getting married, and We've been using it as a pre-marriage course once in a while as well, you know, pre-wedding course. We've had couples coming in who are just about to get married, and our rector has made the suggestion, if you want to get married in our church, then it's a good idea to do the marriage course beforehand. There's one or two, you know, there is actually there's a version of the marriage course for people who are about to get married, but you can do it perfectly well, you know, with you know, depending on the couple's relationship, you can do it perfectly well beforehand as well. So if you can run it once a year, then it you know, it gives everyone a chance to kind of do a little prep, do a little work on it. But we haven't always been able to do it every year.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the thing, that there's kind of the ideals, and then there's, you know, in the practical realities of, you know, the life of any kind of organization in church. It can be hard to kind of, you know, make everything kind of work as smoothly as it seems when it's written down on paper as well. Now, I'd just be interested to kind of talk a little bit just about if a church was looking into running a marriage course as an idea. So I know, Patsy, for example, at the start, this was something that you'd kind of reached out to a few friends, and it was a small thing. You tried to kind of reach out to some people that you knew. If someone was looking to run a marriage course soon, what kind of advice would you give them if they're looking to start one?
Well, for us, I felt that doing it ourselves, just with another couple, you had the kind of safety, the security, and the discipline of not going off on one and having a massive row, or not going off on a tangent and losing the plot completely, or not giving up, or and just encouraging each other. I mean, when we did it with George and Eunice in their house, because their kids were younger than ours, so they had babysitter things, we only did a tea and a biscuit at the end, just to kind of come together. Otherwise, we watched the videos together and then split up. They went upstairs for the chat time and left us downstairs. And it just gave you, well, it gave you the stories of your own experience of it to share then when you started running it for somebody else, because that's how we do it. I mean, I know some people get the script and write the stuff for themselves and actually present. Lanes and the DeVoys have never found the space, time, or courage to do that. So we use the videos of the DVDs as they are now. But we do make sure that each week, and we share it couple on couple now. One week we'll lead, another week Bill and Janet will lead. And we make sure that we share fun stuff, silly stuff, serious stuff, difficult stuff. Not obviously we agree as a couple what we're going to say, mostly. That's the plan. But I think that kind of combination it works for us, doesn't it, Bill? Because it means you don't have to do the whole thing. But the couples that come on the feedback forms, they always say how important it is hearing flesh and blood people standing up going, we found this hard, or this bit was really important to us 3 marriage courses ago, or whatever, you know. And we make the point too that we're sitting here doing it with them, and that at every stage of your life things change and you still need the support and the help and the tools.
Yeah, so you would say that, like, so when you're running it, you and your husband and Bill and his wife would actually sit down and partake in it as well when you do.
Oh, we do. We sit there with our manuals at everybody's at their little tables with their candles and their flowers, and we have one too. And we make sure we get the puddings and everything else as well. We do. So we're there kind of doing both. We're hosting, but like at the talk time, especially the big chat time where the couples are talking to each other. And that's the important thing for anyone who hasn't experienced it. Couples don't share with other couples. They're only husband and wife, or man and lady, whoever you're going to describe it, are only talking about their relationship to each other. It is completely private. And we have we always set the rules at the beginning. And the rules are, you don't talk about your relationship with anybody else. That is your private space. And that's what we protect. and you don't do any work. If you're a parish couple, you don't come in and start clearing away the tables. You just walk out and take your flowers and we do it for you. And I can't remember the third rule, Bill, but there's another one, isn't there? I can't remember. Anyway, that'll do.
It's obviously a very important rule.
Yeah.
No,
well,
great.
the no work is quite, sometimes, you know, parish people automatically start clearing tables. They just can't help it. And you have to just go, nah, we're doing this for you.
I think that's really lovely. That idea of really kind of serving them and being able to do that in person is brilliant. Well, listen, I'm really grateful to you, Bill, and Patsy, for your time. It's been really great to chat to you. If you're all right to hang on for a little while, there might be some times for question at the end, if that's okay. And it would be great to chat to you then. But thank you so much for being able to share with us your experience of that and how it's worked. So I'm really grateful to you for that. So thank you so much. Excellent. So what we're going to do now is we're going to be speaking in a couple of minutes' time with Ingrid, who has been running the marriage course online. So this is be an interesting kind of thing to hear about what it looks like kind of in the digital space. But before we do that, there's just another video that I'd like to go there. So if we can roll it there, Roisin, which is a lovely, there we go, brilliant. And we'll come back after this.
The marriage course is run over 7 weeks. Each session starts with something to eat and drink. This helps to create a welcoming environment and a special date night experience. This is followed by a talk interspersed with times for private conversations for each couple.
One of the most important things about the marriage course is that it's for any couple. Some come to invest in an already strong relationship. Others come with a need to address specific challenges that they're facing. The course is grounded on a Christian understanding of what it means to have love at the centre of a marriage and to draw strength and inspiration from God's love.
But while based on Christian principles, the marriage course is designed for all couples, whether they have a faith background or not. And we welcome every couple, whether they're married or cohabiting.
The 7 sessions of the course cover the topics that are essential for building a healthy marriage and living out the commitment of marriage on a daily basis. Strengthening connection, the art of communication, resolving conflict, the power of forgiveness, the impact of family from childhood and now, good sex, love in action, which explores the love languages, an incredibly helpful tool to discover the different ways we and our partner each feel loved.
We really enjoyed being guests on the marriage course. In that period of time we had lots of change happening and we just felt like we needed a space to focus on each other, and we just felt like the marriage course gave us a regular space to do that.
I would recommend it to anyone. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. So I thought it was going to be like you sit around in groups of married people and you all talk about your issues with each other. And that was not what it was at all. It was like actually really healthy and helpful. So
what I really enjoyed was to actually see that other people also had the same issues we did, and we were not the first couple ever to fight about money, but there are others, and there are actually tools that we can use to overcome that.
I think for me the key takeaway for that course was, it's a single word, is communication.
Like it wasn't like we had big problems in our marriage or like big problems in our communications or whatever, but then like when we got there, we were like, oh my goodness, there's so many things that could be better.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest part.
The marriage course is easy to run. We have a new series of films of the course content, which are available to download on our website when you register a course. And everything you need to know to run the course will be at your fingertips.
It doesn't take huge amount of effort at all. It just takes some nibbles and drinks and love, an open heart and an open house, and it's such a blessing. It's been such a blessing to us and to our house. We love it. We love running it, and it actually every time we run it, we learn something new in our relationship.
Excellent, thank you. So that just gives you a little bit of an overview as to what is involved in the marriage course there. So we've got Ingrid Brennan here, who hopefully is ready to chat to us. I'm trying to unmute you there. So Ingrid is from Holy Trinity Rathmines, and along with Tanya and William from Killiney, they decided to take the plunge early with the marriage course online. So are you there, Ingrid?
I am.
Excellent. How are you doing? Good to see you. Excellent.
Good.
Well, you're very welcome, and thanks a million for coming on and having a chance to chat about this, because I know you're coming. It's up to week 6 now, I think. That's
right. Tonight, actually. Yeah.
Excellent. Right. Excellent. So just interested to hear what inspired you to start running the marriage course online then.
Yeah. Well, hi everyone. It's fantastic to see so many people on this call. Yeah, I suppose we were inspired to do it because we've previously run Alpha courses and done some marriage stuff, not Alpha, over the last few years. And back in February, we were very organised and we had our 6-month plan. And that definitely included a Alpha course. We weren't sure what format that was going to be in. And actually, John popped into the office one day and chatted through the different courses that were available for us. So then, of course, the coronavirus hit and all of the planning went out the window. And I think we were left as a parish kind of wondering, how can we build community during this time? And what can we do from our homes that will enable some community? So yeah, then I think probably towards the middle of April, I got an email from Alpha. I must be on a mailing list or something, and it was just highlighting that the marriage course was available online. And I'd definitely been struggling to figure out how I could do more in my role. So at the moment, my role is kind of operations and staff manager. But obviously people's jobs all changed, and we didn't really know what people were doing, and it was all up in the air. So this came along, and I thought actually this would be a fantastic thing to implement. And yeah, it looked like it was going to be easy to run. So I gave John a call, and it kind of went from there. So that was really the inspiration behind it, and the fact that it was, all the content was there online, and there wasn't going to be a huge amount of preparation involved. That was definitely a selling point for me.
Not having to make meals for a whole bunch of people and then send them out in the post.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was definitely one thing that pushed us to do it. So I mean, it was kind of a matter of just deciding we were going to do it, and then thinking about who could I get as a couple of other couples to co-host, because that just gives a bit of variety. And I think even if it meant then that, like, if there was 2 or 3 couples involved, then at least even if we only got another 2 or 3, we would definitely run it. So whether we got another 10 couples or 20, or we just had the 5, we were going to go ahead with it. So
excellent. Yeah. And so trying to then get the word out, and what was the kind of response then that you had? So just if you could take us a little bit through that.
Yeah, so I mean, we once we made the decision to do it, we got the word out pretty quick, and I think it was over the May Bank holiday weekend actually that we communicated. I think you might have the slide there if you want to show that on the screen. I don't know. So that went out on this is the slide that we sort of personalized. So we took some of the information from the Alpha information about the marriage course, and we just put it onto this slide and made it, that's our logo down in the very bottom right. And yeah, we just said when it was beginning, and then when to contact me, which was at the very bottom. So that was probably 3 or 4 days it went beforehand that it went out in the newsletter, and then we individually rang people. So the Reverend Rob, he rang some couples that he had married in the last 2 years or so, just to see would they be interested in doing this. And I also just took the opportunity to be able to make contact with some people in the parish. So to pick up the phone and be intentional about contacting people during this time when they were kind of in lockdown and shut away. So yeah, that's where we, you know, people loved that personal connection. So to be able to pick up the phone, have a chat and say, look, we're running this, and you know, it's just a matter of logging on. You don't have to go anywhere. The information will be sent to you. And we got a good few responses from that immediately. You know, I got a good few couples signing up there and then. And then within a couple of days then as well, we had some more people. So actually it turned out that we had 17 couples, and we still have 17 couples doing the course. And they are all involved in Holy Trinity Church. So there's a couple of kind of older couples that we have that maybe I think their daughter is going to the church, so they're not, but they do still have some involvement. So, you know, while we publicized it in the newsletter, and that's probably reaching a lot of, you know, people that are maybe going to some other churches, it turned out that actually everybody that did sign up was a part of Holy Trinity already. So that meant that there was a lovely kind of connection, because not that we knew everybody very well, but we knew each other enough that there's not going to be any sort of awkward silences, I suppose, at the start, you know.
That's great. That's really great.
Yeah.
And so I mean, taking the plunge to run it online, I think is great. And we've heard brilliantly from Patsy and Bill about like the dynamics of when it's in person. So what are some of the opportunities or challenges maybe of running the marriage course online that you found?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the opportunity is probably not as good as it would be face-to-face, because, you know, you're limited what you can do online, I suppose. But there is still a space there to get to know people. And so what we've done is just try and start it at about 7:45, and actually be quite particular about the time that we want people to log on. So log on between 7:45 and 7:55. So there's a 10-minute slot there, if you like, where people are logging on, and we will intentionally have a question that it'll be a sort of a get to know you as couples question. So what do you know, as a couple, what is your favorite kind of date night thing to do? Or, you know, last week I think we just asked them what do they enjoy watching as a couple together. But it just creates a bit of conversation, because obviously with online stuff, it's difficult. You're all in different rooms and you're only looking at each other on the screen. So to create that kind of community piece. So I suppose that's an opportunity, but it could also be a challenge in the way if people don't know each other as well as maybe we do. So yeah, and I suppose the other opportunity with it was definitely getting some couples signed up to it and involved that wouldn't normally get to have the opportunity to go along, just, you know, with childcare issues or whatever, or maybe just, you know, it's definitely easier to run it online. I think, you know, you don't have to go anywhere. You know, you can have your, if you're late in from work, you can be eating your dinner while you're logging on, you know. There's all those things that are probably good opportunities. I suppose one challenge is once you're sharing the screen and the video is running, you're trusting that people are actually engaging, and also that they're not having any technical difficulties, you know, because you're limited as to when you share a screen as to who you can see, you know, on the side, and some people will turn their videos off and so on. So I suppose, you know, you pause the video at the particular times and you definitely say, right, we're taking 10 minutes here for this conversation. But, you know, if people are maybe having a technical difficulty or have had to go out of the room or whatever, they are maybe missing chunks of that. So, yeah, but that's just, you know, I suppose laying it out there from the start, saying, look, it's not going to be perfect, and maybe there will be technical difficulties, but we're going to do our best, and, you know, please don't get stressed about it. So just, you know.
Have you found that people have been fairly responsive to the whole online tech issues, that people are kind of understanding of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all getting better, and we haven't actually had any major technical issues at all. So that's great. But and I think, like, obviously in Dublin the Wi-Fi is better, so I don't know where everybody is from here on this call, but it mightn't be quite as straightforward. But they're just some of the opportunities and challenges I think that we've
okay. And so if there's someone then who is kind of thinking about running a marriage course online, then is there any piece of advice that you give them?
I'd say go for it. As my first piece of advice. You should definitely do it. I think it's an easy thing to step into and try and do. I would say try and get a couple of other couples or people involved that can help you. Somebody that's good at the technical side, just to be able to share screens and stuff like that. So some co-hosts that will, maybe you could share the load. So what we tend to do with the three couples that we have as co-hosts is that one night one couple is in charge of the question, and then another couple will be in charge of sharing the screen and stopping the video and that kind of thing. And I think just clear communication around it. So I'm a stickler for having clear communication so people know exactly. So however you communicate it, just make sure it's clear as to when it's starting, how long it's going to take to run, because people do like to know how long they're going to be stuck in front of the screen. I don't know if there's, I suppose one other thing to highlight is, well, it's free is another good point. It doesn't cost anything to run it. I know there's a small charge for the handbooks, but yeah, other than that, it's fairly low cost as a community builder. And I suppose the other thing is just to highlight when you are communicating it is that it's for all couples, really. It's not just for those that are struggling in their marriage. I think anybody that signs up to it and gets involved will really benefit, because the sessions just cover so much. And whether you've been married 20 years or 2 months, you'll probably get some stuff from it. A lot of content in each session, I'd say. Really, really good though. And I think the handbooks are brilliant.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Well, that's brilliant. Ingrid, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. We're going to open it up to any questions. So if anyone has any questions, you can pop them in there. There's just a couple of things that I wanted to let people know about. So yeah, some good news is that in the past few months, it's now being made that the marriage course is available for free. So if anyone is looking to do that, we can sort that out with you. We're still kind of working on the website that's there, but if you can get in touch with us, john@alphaireland.org is my email address, or any one of us, you can reach out and we can sort that out for you. But there is a small charge for the kind of the books and stuff that are in there too. One of the other things that is available, I know that Ingrid shared there, the poster that they had, and we have some flyers that are available too. So I think we've got one of those there. So if you're looking to run it, you don't have anyone in stores able to do it, this is the kind of stuff that you can get from us. This is kind of one of the sides, and on the background side you can get the kind of same information that Ingrid had there too. So there's a whole plethora of kind of information and promotional stuff that you can get out there as well. So not to worry, you're never on your own with that kind of stuff, and we're there to help you in any way, shape or form as we go. The other thing that I just wanted to let you know about is that next week, so every 2 weeks we have this Taking the Lead call, but then on the other week in between is the Explore series, and we're very excited to have Nikki Gumbel next week, who will be coming on to speak to us about innovation in the Irish Church. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, please do feel free to sign up via our website, and invite anybody else you think who might be interested in coming along. This is very much one of those for people who might just be hearing about Alpha at the very beginning, or who are interested in the idea of evangelization, or just trying to kind of reach out to people. So if there's anyone you know who might be interested in doing that, please do feel free to invite us or sign up for that as well. So all the information is there. Invite anyone as Ezra said, who you think might benefit from hearing Nikki speak. It promises to be a really good one. Just one thing from Bill Lane there, who's saying that the books that kind of go with the marriage course, they are extremely valuable. I literally don't have one to hand, but I have so many of them in my house. I don't have one to go to hand, but they're really helpful. They're kind of workbooks, and they help people to kind of talk through things, and they are absolutely brilliant. Myself and my wife are doing a course at the moment as well, and we're getting a huge amount out of it and being able to do that. So that's brilliant. So I'll just let you know about Nikki for next week as well. So if you're interested in that, we've got about 10 minutes left now. So if there's anybody in particular who would like to ask any questions, please do feel free to do so. You can ask that to either Ingrid or Bill or Patsy, anybody who you think might be interested in that. Or you can ask anyone else on the call as well. See what happens. You know, it could be lucky dip. But if there's anything in particular that anyone would like to ask, you can either type it there into the search, or you can just put up your hand, and we'd be happy to open up. Is there any questions for anyone?
Oh, hi, John. It's Tanya here. Jenny has asked Patsy, who's already responded, I think. There you are, Patsy. About the recipe book. This is a very practical thing. Does Patsy have the recipe book for email or in a hard copy?
Oh, sorry, 1 second. I just unmuted her.
I can email it, but it does vary every year, so I can just send you the latest, because it depends, it depends what Janet and I feel like cooking.
Yeah. Well, I think the latest would be great, and I've got Jenny's email, so I can send that on. Or anyone else who wants that, just contact in.
Then you can get it from anybody else.
Yeah, that'd be super. Yeah, if you send it on to us, then we'd be happy to share that with everyone. Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant. John, that's the book there if you want to.
Oh, look, there you go. See, Tanya, this is absolutely brilliant. So that's our workbook that we have in there. There's nice and colourful and everything that you need in it. And it can be completely filled out and that kind of stuff. So it's really helpful. I'm glad that you opened it up on that page. Not one of the others. That's very good. But yeah, no, it's really helpful and able for people to kind of fill it all out. It's brilliant. Are there any other questions that anybody has for either Patsy, Bill, or Ingrid? Oh yeah, sorry, Don and Donna there. I'm just unmute you there. 1 second.
Yeah, just a quick question for Ingrid there. Ingrid, you mentioned that for the online version, you start at 7:45 to 7:55. How long does that go on online then?
Yeah. So we kind of start the video then by 8 o'clock on the dot. So it just allows for sort of, no matter what you say to people, they will always log in late, but we got the majority that are going to log in at 7:45, and everybody has been logged in by 8 o'clock, and then it runs for an hour and a half. So that is, it stops at probably 3 or 4 different points in the video, and it stops for 10 minutes or maybe 20 minutes, depending on the conversation piece. We have reduced some of those conversations down slightly compared to what it says in the booklet. So yeah, we just like to keep it to kind of an hour and a half. So for the leaders or the hosts, if you like, it's 2 hours, because we would log in at 7:30 and just have a little chat beforehand, make sure the technical side is working. And yeah, so it's a good hour and a half for people that are signed up to engage in it. Yeah.
Thanks, Ingrid. And one other quick question for you. Is it 2 booklets per couple, and do you send them out in the post or what?
Yes. Yeah, it's a booklet each, a handbook each, because each individual is going to write themselves about each session. And John was very good in that he actually posted an awful lot of them out for me, because during the lockdown I wasn't able to go beyond 5 kilometers. So yeah. Yeah,
so that's just one of the things. Yeah, we managed to get it out, and obviously as soon as we get the list for people, obviously usually if it's done in person when they show up, you're able to give it to them, but when it's run online, just being able to kind of send them out in the post to them, and it's one per person. Myself and my wife are doing it at the moment with William and Tanya's church there in Killiney, and one of the things that we're finding, another online one of the things that we're finding is very interesting comparing notes at the end.
So it's two per person, isn't it, John? Two.
Yeah, that's right. So it's one each and 2 per couple. So
and there is a leader's guide as well.
And there is a leader's guide as well, absolutely. And so the leader's guide is very helpful for giving you an overview as to what everything is, and it's kind of done to give you an overview as to everything that's on there. So yeah, if anybody wants to kind of find out more about the different things that are in there, do just get in touch with us, and we'd be happy to chat through that with you. But I hope that answers your question, Don. Good. Is there anybody else who has a question there? Just coming into the last few minutes, is there any other questions there? People should be able to unmute themselves if need to be. Okay. Lovely. Well, excellent. Well, I just wanted to come to the end then, if it was all right. If you have any further questions, do let us know, and we'll be happy to chat to you and kind of answer any questions that we got there. We really do appreciate you joining us today, and thank you so much to Patsy and Bill from Carrigahan Union in Cork, and also to Ingrid Brennan of Holy Trinity Rathmines. Thank you so much for coming on the call and for everything that you do. And thank you all for joining today. We have a recording of this, so if there's anything in there that you think people would be interested in getting a copy of, just let us know, and we'll be happy to forward it to you as well. We'll have it on our website the next day or so. But really grateful to everyone for coming along today. Thank you for your time this afternoon, and thank you too for Patsy and Ingrid and Bill for your time and for your expertise. And just a final reminder about Nicky Gumbel and Innovation in the Irish Church, and I think there's a link there in the chats that will bring you through wherever you might be able to sign up for that. And please do feel free to invite someone along to it. You never know, something awesome might happen. The Holy Spirit might be at work. But we're extremely grateful for your time today. Thank you all for coming along, and we hope to see you again in a couple of weeks' time for the next Taking the Lead series. We do appreciate you coming along today. So thank you all. We appreciate it, and we hope to see you again soon.
God bless. Bye.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.